Morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, hey everybody, Hawk Hustle Morning Show. We are back. My days have been so mixed up this week. I keep forgetting, I kept thinking yesterday was Thursday. Today is definitely all of Wednesday. So I hope you guys are having an off to a good week. As you guys are popping in, feel free to pop in the chat and say, hey. Hey, Darnie. Hi, Zanika. Hey, Erica. Hey, Carol. Hi, Monica. Hey, Reese. I think I see a Barbara, a Marvette. Hello, hello, hello. So what's going on in my world this week hey, Monique. So as you guys, well, maybe you guys know, maybe you guys don't know, a huge part of why I do these episodes or why I have these conversations with you guys is three main reasons. Like there's primary pillars of why I create content. And really what we help our clients do. Like we really help our clients serve their clients. How do you serve your clients? How do you sell your services? And how do you scale your services beyond one-on-one? That's like the primary foundation of what we do, serve, sell, and scale. And we've been talking a lot about discipline over the past week and just what's required for you to be able to operate at your best and for you to go out there and do those three things. We've been talking a lot about discipline and how you can exercise that and giving you some really breaking down that concept and what's required. What we really haven't talked a lot about lately is what's required to serve your clients or what's required to scale beyond one-on-one. So today it'll be more of a Q&A style. I'd love for anybody to share what are your current struggles right now with serving your clients, right? Like many of you already have the skill set, like you know how to do what you do, but maybe you haven't figured out the best way to deliver your content or what have you. So I want to talk about, and just to make today a bit more, I don't know, maybe practical for you, like what challenges have you come interfaced with or trying to overcome when it comes to serving your clients? And just what struggles have you had around it? What advice would you like around it? Where can I support you in that? And as you guys are typing in questions, like I said, today will be more Q&A style. So anything goes, any questions you guys have, feel free to pop it in the comments. Hi, Whitney. Just let me know. And in the meantime, while you guys are typing questions in, just feel free to pop them in the comments. I want to just give you guys some updates on what's going on over here at Hawk Hustle. It's been a very interesting year. And I think what we've been talking a lot about earlier this week was like, you know, people sharing that they don't want to make mistakes in their business or they're afraid of making certain mistakes in their business. And that causes them not to take action. That causes them not to be disciplined. And there's one of the lessons that I'm learning is, and I don't know why I do this. Maybe one of you guys do it too. Maybe I'm not alone in this, but I try to force solutions to work in my business versus just doubling down on what already is working. So like, for example, I'll talk about like my organic versus like paid sales strategies. Okay. So like what I mean by this is, you know, I've been growing my business in a very organic way since I started. What I mean by that is I have not used a lot of Facebook. It took me years before I started using Facebook ads to actually generate leads or to convert clients. I've grown my business very much organically. And, you know, just through referrals, through word of mouth, through me producing consistent live stream video content and you guys sharing my content. And because you share my content, new people come. I've grown my business in a very organic manner, primarily through using live stream video. And, you know, as I've grown my business, one, you start to compare. Like in the beginning stages, you're naive. You don't know any different. So you just run and you do. I think the hardest thing, doing something for the first time is really never the hardest, in my opinion. Doing something for the second time is where I've noticed more like challenges or struggles or, you know, whatever, right? Like I can do anything for the first time because I don't know that, like, I don't have any preconceived notion around like something around the fact that I can't do it. Like, I don't know any better. So I'm like, I'm going to just go until, and then, you know, so for the first, like we were able to get to about 150K in revenue in the first 18 months in business, which for me was really fast. And we did that very much organically. I just got in the car and I said, I'm going to drive until we run out of gas. I just hit the pedal to the floor and I just took off. And we got to 150K. It was $149,000 in the first 18 months. And then we've been just growing ever since. Like, it's been fast. Like people, I was at an event last night. Somebody's like, you've been in business for like a long time, right? I'm like, no, I've only been out of corporate 2 years. It'll just be 2 years in July. And I've been running, the business will be 3 years old in October of this year. Like, nah, we're not that old. Like we're still definitely like in toddler stages. But as I started making more money and as I started like joining higher level coaching programs and joining like higher level mastermind groups, I started looking around at my peers, and it's like most of these people grew their business off of paid traffic, right? Like the reason why they're doing $500,000 a year, the reason why they're doing $1 million a year is because they spend 40% of their revenue on Facebook ads to buy leads. And I'm not knocking that because it makes sense in certain businesses. Like it's just, everybody's business model is different and their overhead and expenses are just different. But I feel like, okay, I started believing that in order for me to grow to $1 million, I'm going to have to spend, like I need to figure out Facebook ads. And part of me, I don't need to just figure out Facebook ads. I do need to figure out a paid way for us to grow and expand our reach. But I think I was at a point where I was trying to force this new method to work where I just completely neglected the method that's been working, my organic approach. And what I mean by that is this is legitimately part of the reason why I'm doing a live stream video every day of the week this month in June, because we did it. I think sometimes when we as entrepreneurs, because we have amazing ideas and we're so ready to continuously be in a space where we're being challenged. I know for me, I like not knowing the answer to a problem. So then I'll go create another problem that I don't know the answer to. Like you stay in this constant state of struggle. Part of that might be self-sabotage. I don't know. And I've been reminded this week to just like, well, what's already working for you? I'm like, well, my live video works really well for me. My Facebook group works really well for me. They're like, well, just go, if you're going to spend money, go put money behind those two things. Versus like you trying to force a new method to work. And you just do what you already do well. Double down on what's already been working. And there's part of it is like experimentation. And I'm really excited. I did an interview with Mariah Kaz yesterday. She's going to be coming on to the next season of the podcast. And that's something that we talked a lot about on that episode. It's just like, you don't know until you try it. And just because it costs you money to try it and things don't work out the exact way that you expected them to, doesn't mean that it's a waste. It doesn't mean that it was a mistake. We've really invested a lot of money in paid advertising over the last 6 months. And, we've spent multiple 5 figures on that investment. And the numbers work. Like, we actually are getting an amazing return on our ad spend where you've grown our audience by almost double because of the ad spend. But really where I'm really good at closing the deal is just doing what I naturally do. And it's just like, you want to try new things and, also make sure that you have aligned expectations of what that result is going to look like. And you like really check yourself on what those expectations should be. But also making sure that just because you don't get a result as fast as you want to get that result doesn't mean that it didn't work. Because in the first few months when I started running paid advertising for the first time, I'm like, this isn't working. And it's not that it didn't work. It just took longer for me to see the return on investment than what I had anticipated. So I had made up this whole story or whatever. So it's like, there's just one thing I'm learning in business is there has to be this healthy balance between trying new things and giving yourself permission to not know exactly how things are going to turn out, and also being comfortable and okay putting money, effort, time, and energy behind it, and giving yourself an actual like legitimate runway of 3 to 6 months, of testing it consistently before you say it doesn't work and before you throw it in the trash. I think we give up on ideas too soon, and that's why they don't work, because we didn't wait long enough for it to really come to fruition. And that's like a huge lesson that I've been learning recently. Like give yourself space to test and try new things. Give yourself enough time for you to see a return on investment. And also, like, don't stop doing the thing that's already working. I spoke to a young lady even last night. We were at Detroit Startup Week. Shout out to my fiance for hosting his first panel discussion. But I was speaking to a young lady, and she was, newer in her business. She was 21 years old. And she was just talking about how, she was really getting some momentum on her Instagram following, and she was really getting good engagement, and she was starting to get clients. And then everything stopped. And she's like, I don't know what happened. I'm like, well, what happened? Like, tell me what you do know what happened. What happened? She was like, well, I stopped posting consistently. I stopped engaging with my audience. I stopped showing up regularly. And I noticed a significant decline in my follower base and in my engagement. I was like, well, like, go do the thing works. Go do the thing that you've been doing. And it's like, we will create problems in our business that, like, really aren't problems. Like, we just stop doing the thing that's always worked. And I don't know, I'm not sure if just because we get bored with it, or like, I don't know. Or I think a lot of it for some of us, I know for me, is there's a fear of success, which sounds silly, but is like super real. That the second you start getting more success, or the second you start, getting better results with what it is that you wanted, you freak out. So then you will subconsciously sabotage your situation, and like stop whatever you've been doing that's been gaining you momentum, just so you can get back to the state of like the struggle. And I think a lot of the time we fall into that. And like another thing that I think is like perspective shifting is, if you want to last in business long term, like really think about why you want your business. Really think about why you started your business. And really think about what is the purpose of the revenue that you're going to be making from your business. And if you are looking for your business to replace your salary, and to give you stability, and to be the thing that you retire off of, your perspective, it has to shift on how you look at how you move and grow in your business. And this is something else Mariah and I talked about yesterday, and something that my fiance DJ and I talk about all the time. Is it's so interesting how in traditional businesses, like normal business world, right? Brick and mortars, traditional consulting and service-based businesses, when they make investments in their business, a lot of the time they don't anticipate a return on their investment for 3 years, for 5 years, for 10 years, right? Like the utility that I used to work with, we made investments, and that's how we made investments in our infrastructure, i.e. like replacing our pipelines or whatever. And that's how a business made money. It took 10 to 20 years to get a return on the investment. That is normal. Like it taking multiple years to get a return on your investment is not ludicrous. Like that's a very normal expectation. But it's so interesting in the digital space, in this online gig economy world, people like, if I don't see a return on my investment in 7 days, like I'm flipping tables over. Like if I don't see a return on my investment in 60 days, like that coach was trash, or that program was trash, or that method was trash. And it's like, why do we have such underlying expectations between the two worlds? Right? Like I do believe in the digital world, in this online space, you are able to get a return on your investment faster. But like, who cares how long it takes you to get the return versus like, I care much more about how big is the return going to be. Right? So like, I recently joined a program where I guess there's programs out there that exist. Like, we'll show you how to make 6 figures, or we'll show you how to design your business to get to $1 million. And somebody's like, well, how long is it going to take me to get to 6 figures? I'm like, why does it care? Why does it matter how long it takes you? Like, just, do you care about getting there fast, or do you care about getting there? Right? Like if it's something that it's not a overnight thing, like it's not as, I don't know. And then it's like people make decisions. Well, I'm not going to do it if I can't make the 6 figures in the next 90 days. Like you can't make 6 figures in the next 90 days anywhere. Like if you go get a job, you're not going to make 6 figures in the next 90 days. Like you're not going to go get a promotion and make 6 figures in the next month. Like most of us were used to waiting a year to make an extra $1,500. What makes you think you're going to get in this digital world and like you're going to 100x the return on your investment in the same year? Is it possible? Like, yes. Is that like the norm? Probably not. Like you have expectations that are, it's just, why do our expectations change so much from the two worlds, right? Like in order to make $1 million going down the, like there's most of us on this, listening to this right now, it would take decades for you to make $1 million, just like in overall collected revenue from your salary, like over a decade. Like most of us would never make $1 million until we like retire. I don't know. DJ, do you know how long it takes for somebody in the normal world to make $1 million? Okay, I don't know. Like, but you get what I'm saying? Like if you make $50,000 a year, like let's do the math. Like how long will it take you to see $1 million? Like 20 years. So then you get into this online digital space. Like, well, I don't make $1 million in the next 4 months, I'm out. Like what? Like you guys get what I'm saying? Like that's like ridiculous. Like that's baloney. Like what is going on? So that's something I've really been learning, is the importance of long-term perspective and the importance of like what this marathon really looks like, and the importance of making, like I have to make decisions that serve us in the short term, but that also serve us in the long term. Because this business for me is not just a get rich quick scheme. Like this business for me and the clients that I want to work with, the clients that we enroll in services that sell, like we're trying to build businesses that will last. We're trying to build businesses that will set us up for retirement. Like we're trying to build businesses that are going to exist, longer, than the iPhone, we just want it. We want to exist, longer than just the fad, So you really, like, that's something I've really been thinking through a lot, and lessons that I've been learning and having to change my perspective on the investments that I'm making. Like, now I'm looking at investments in programs that will take me a year to complete, that will take me 2 years to complete. And those are the type of investments in masterminds and coaching programs that I'm literally making decisions in my business for now. Like, I know that I want to get a certain result. I know it's going to take me, 18 to 36 months for me to get there. Like, I'm making longer term commitment investments because that's just the name of the game as you continue to grow. So that's something that I've been working through. And that's something that I've been learning lately. And that's really helped me change my perspective on how I hire, on how I look at contractors, at how I look at cash flow in our business. It's just really shifting my perspective on how I look at a lot of different things. It's definitely looking at how I make investments. It's definitely more of this long-term perspective of there's an upfront cost associated with me getting any return on investment. And that's the case with anything, right? That's something that even I've been learning just, by interacting with DJ and like understanding his business more. Like, there's just capital investments up front if you want to get a return, and it takes time to get that return, and that's okay. That's normal. But because I'm so sucked into our digital space, it's like, what do you mean it's going to take 6 months to get the money back? It's like, that's like, Jay, this is actually a really good investment. Like, this is normal. This is how this thing works. And I'm having to learn to shift my perspective and to be comfortable doing things in a different way. That's more of this long-term game or this long-term approach. Yeah. And like, even just making sure that, just like, I know somebody just mentioned about unrealistic expectations because of when we're scrolling on social media. When you really, like, I encourage you, when you are rolling on social media, look behind the lens. Right? So if you see somebody that you admire and they're sharing their win, I was really inspired by Main Choice, the hair care company, the beauty product that's in like the multicultural aisle at Target. Main Choice, she just crossed over $100 million in sales, $100 million in sales from a natural hair care product. And some people might see that and see her lifestyle and be like, whoa, like that's amazing, which it is. But it's like, peel behind the post of just the win and the result. Like, look at how long has she been in business? Like, how long has she been creating hair care product formulas? How long has she been selling? Like, what has her journey been like? Because I think we choose, I think a lot of the time on social media, we choose to focus on the highlight reel, and we choose not to do the research behind the result that they got. And that's our mistake. As scrollers on social media, right? Like anybody that you see that's winning, you know, Miley Teal is another woman that I look up to. She owns Curlbox, the natural hair care subscription company. You know, I've gone to her My Taught You retreat both times that she's hosted it now. And people will be like, man, like, you know, you did it so fast. She's like, I've been at this for 20 years. Like nothing has been fast about what I've done. It's taken me 2 decades to get to where I am now. We like don't get so caught up in, just make sure that when you're looking at people's highlight reels, like do your research. Like it's not unrealistic for them to get the results that they got. Like a lot of the time they've put in a ton of effort, a ton of energy. They've sacrificed things that many of us won't sacrifice. They've spent a lot of money to grow to where they got. Like be responsible when you're scrolling and before you start comparing, and like look at really what they put in to get the results they got, and then go celebrate with them, because like it's dope what they're doing, right? So that's what I've been learning. That's something that I've been growing through right now. You know, that's me documenting my journey right now. But let me answer some of the questions that you guys had. Hope this was helpful, and let me know, like, do you guys want me to, you know, share more stuff like this, or just like, what am I learning personally? Where am I growing? What's working for us? What's not working for us as a business? Just give me like a thumbs up, a yes, or throw hearts up on the screen if that's something you would like more of in these Hot Coastal morning shows. Just let me know if that's something you guys care about or want to hear about. Okay. So Janelle Alex, she said, what is the best way to regularly invite clients to work with you? Apart from newsletters and webinars, I'm working on setting goals that allow me to invite new clients daily. So this is something that we teach inside of Services That Sell. So plug for my program. But one thing when you think about inviting clients to work with you regularly, I say the transformation happens after the transaction, okay? So regardless of, you know, I don't really know your business industry at all. Apart from newsletters and webinars, I'm working on getting, I think honestly, the simplest, least complicated way to learn how to sell and invite people to work with you is knowing how to sell over the phone, right? I think selling over the phone is the simplest way to invite people to work with you, is having a conversation. Versus building out a complicated webinar, or like having to pay for all the tech and the software associated with you being able to execute a webinar effectively, or even like going down the route of building a newsletter. If you're never, I think the simplest way for you to convert clients is over the phone, especially, I don't even want to say put a dollar amount on it. Like I just think that we forget about like what, you know, I was just talking about like doing the thing that's always worked. If you're like at a point now where especially if you're making less than 6 figures, or if you're more in the beginning stages, even if you're not in the beginning stages, because like as we progress, we will be introducing sales calls back to our business model in the next year or so. So like we're not going to be completely getting away from that either. But like what's always worked, like from the dawn of businesses existing, what has always worked to get people clients? Like they talk to them over the phone and they close them over the phone. Like that would be my biggest recommendation on that. And you're working on setting goals that allow me to invite clients daily. Like invite clients daily. Like every day, my recommendation for you is every day have a call to action. Like every single day have a call to action where we're giving people an invitation to take the next step to work with you. And then every day be getting on phone calls, answering, like having a sales conversation and closing clients. That would be my recommendation. Like in regards to how do I do that, that's something that we can definitely support you with doing inside of Services That Sell. In regards to how do I create content that actually leads people to take action? How do I align my marketing strategies with how my clients make buying decisions, which will lead them to take action and want to take the next step with you? How do I handle sales calls, close clients on a sales call? That's something that we teach inside of Services That Sell. But that would be my biggest recommendation. It's something that's tried, true, and tested from like the dawn of business day. And I really do believe that you should get good at selling over the phone before you introduce technology to sell for you. right? I really do believe that technology amplifies what currently exists. So just like paid ads amplifies what currently exists. If you already suck at selling now or struggle with selling consistently now, running ads is not going to make your situation better. Running ads will amplify the problem that you already have. And now that problem would just cost you more money. That's just my opinion. And I know for me, through my experience, I didn't get good at selling at webinars until after I got really good at selling over the phone. Because it's all, sales is all the same thing, you know, it's just presenting it in different mediums. But I'm a really big believer on like, learn how to do it in the simplest way. If you can do it well in the simplest way, you'll be able to do it even better in a way that involves more technology and more buttons and more moving pieces. Great question. Okay, I'm still scrolling through comments to find questions, guys, so bear with me. Okay. So this is Erica. She said, I was heavy on clients who compete in clients and now they aren't competing. I don't have any clients. So now I'm trying to figure out who to target as clients. Erica, I have no idea what your question is trying to ask. Is there any way that you could rephrase that or reframe that so I understand what you're saying? I was heavy on clients who compete in clients, and now that they are competing, I don't have any more clients. Yeah, can you give me context on that or ask that question, like ask your question a different way? Oh, okay. So this one I think is a good comment I want us to talk about. I am Ashante. She said, it is a responsibility of the new entrepreneur to follow their way, but it's also the responsibility of the winners to tell the truth just as you are. It is. I don't think anybody like should be out here lying or making up fallacies about what their results are. Like it's just dishonest, period. Like I don't think any business owner should be out here like thinking the funk. Like if I really do believe that there needs to be a level of just integrity with any business owner, right? Like nobody should be lying about what their results are, or even if you're a service provider, like don't lie about what you can do for somebody. Don't take somebody's money when you know good and well you're not going to show up to do the work. Like don't hire a client and then ghost them. I don't take somebody, I think it's a two-way street. Like I think as a service provider and as a consumer, you have got to operate from a space of integrity. And especially if you're playing around in this digital space, our universe is so small. It will not take long before you come back across the person that you burned, or you come back across the person that you ghosted, or you come back across the person that you stole content from. Like, so recently I've had people sliding in my DM saying like, Jay, people are ripping off your content. I'm like, one, it's just the nature of business. Two, I'm not worried because they can't outdo what I created. But like our space is small. Like we do need to be honest and just operate from integrity and make sure that there's clear expectations that are governing what our relationship is going to be between client and between supplier. So or service provider. So I really do agree with that. Like that we do need, all of us, like the community as a whole needs to operate from a space, I believe, of radical transparency and just being honest about this is what you can expect. This is what my results were. Like this is, this is the anticipated results of what we've been able to get for our clients. This is what our clients had to do to get those results. And you're human. Like if you make a mistake, if you slip up, just own up to it. Like be honest about it. Like, say, hey, you bring on a new client, maybe you sell a program and you oversell it. Like we brought on too many clients. We're not going to be able to serve you guys all at this capacity. Like readjust the expectations, and have contracts that allow you the flexibility to do that. And also, there's different things that you can do, but I agree that we all need to be honest about, like, especially when you're taking people's money, like your people are paying you to solve a problem. Don't be misleading with the problem that you're actually solving. Like be clear about the result that you're going to be able to support them with. be clear about what the expectations are, have a contract, you can communicate that and it's documented clearly somewhere. And yeah, so I agree with the comment that both individuals, like we have to use discernment, do your research, investigate, but also we're like, people do be winning. Like people do be getting results. People do be winning. I know somebody reached out to somebody on my results page saying like, did you lie about that? Like, did you really make that much money? And it's like, of course she did. Like, I mean, I hope that she wouldn't lie to us about what she made, but like, of course she made that much money. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, you do have to operate from discernment. That's why I always say, like, pray. The Lord will lead you. Like, pray before you pursue. And people are like, Jay, I don't know, I'm on the fence about joining your program. I'm like, pray about it. You shouldn't be making decisions based out of fear. You should be making decisions based out of, faith. I'm a believer in that. Like, I try my best not to make decisions rooted in fear, but like, pray about the decisions you need to make. Like, the Holy Spirit will guide you. But we do need to be honest about what the results are. And, thank you guys. I know that's a huge reason why you guys follow me. I try it's just that's what I believe in. So yeah. So Janelle, this is going back to her question about how do I invite clients. I offer discovery sessions. Discovery sessions should not be free consultations. So your discovery sessions, or if your discovery calls, or like your enrollment calls, whatever your call is to bring on a new client, those should not be free consultation sessions. You should not be doing coaching or consulting or giving advice on how to solve a problem on a discovery call. A discovery call is exactly what it sounds like. It is to discover whether or not this lead is qualified and that you are qualified to be able to help this person solve a problem. You should not be doing coaching, consulting, giving free advice on those discovery calls. That's what a discovery call is, the purpose of them for, is to qualify the lead and to qualify that you can actually support them in getting a result, and then discussing what the next steps need to look like on how you guys can work together. And then a transaction needs to take place in the form of financial payment before you start actually solving their problem. So that is something that, is a huge shift for most of our clients when they come into our program, mainly because they've looked at their enrollment calls or their discovery calls before. It's like, I'm getting on the phone, I'm giving them all this value, and then they don't buy. It's because you gave them all the value. Like, you gave them enough information that they needed to go solve the problem that they called you for in the first place. And that's not what discovery calls are for. So, it's like you gave them the milk without them having to buy the cow. Like, why would they go buy the cow? But you put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound too. Like, you giving consulting or coaching in a contained environment that doesn't actually solve their problem isn't really being of service to the person you're speaking to. Because you're like, if their goal is to get X result or solve X problem, those problems are not solved in like 30-minute conversations a lot of the time. So it's really actually you doing them a disservice by putting a Band-Aid on their bullet wound, by giving them just enough information, and, on those discovery calls, if that makes sense. Okay. Okay, so Erica, thank you for clarifying your question. She said, how can I change my target market without isolating my existing clients? I don't know what you mean by that either. Like, who are your existing clients, and like, who are your existing clients? Who do you want to change your clients to? Okay, so I see another question that just came in. Oh, this is also from Janelle. We already answered that one. Erica, if you can give us some clarification on that, we can work out your question. So you said, how do I change my target market without isolating my existing clients? As you're typing that up, one thing is, like, your target market should isolate. Like, your target market should repel people. Your target market should be niche enough. They compete in pageants. Gotcha. Thank you. I don't know why I was having a slow moment. So you have clients that compete in pageants, and you're like, how do I change my target market without isolating my current pageant clients? What is the target market that you want to go to? But your target market, for anybody who's listening in now, your target market should be specific. Your target market should repel people. Your target market, when you walk into a room, you should say, this is the client I serve. And like a specific number of people raise their hand. Everybody's hand shouldn't shoot up in the room. If you're, selling a service, like I really do believe in focusing on a minimum viable audience and focusing on a minimum viable audience, solving a specific problem to gain traction and momentum in your business for you to really grow the trunk of your tree before you start branching out, trying to serve everybody and their mama. So I really believe in focusing on like establishing your roots and building the trunk of your tree, building the foundation of your business before you start to try to do too many things, solve too many problems for too many different people. Monica said, would you recommend using applications before phone calls to enroll new clients? It depends on the offer, whether or not you use an application. So that really depends on what your offer is and what you're selling. I do believe that like you should qualify your leads before you get on enrollment calls, or you should be qualifying your leads. But one thing that we teach our students how to do in services that sells, how do you qualify your leads? Through your free content versus you having to qualify your leads over the phone. But I'm a really big believer in using your content. This is what I mean by all the time saying you need to align your marketing strategy with how your buyers make decisions. Because if you can align your marketing efforts, i.e. all the free content that you produce through the form of live stream video or what have you, if you can align that with how buyers make decisions, you can qualify your leads through your free content and through your live stream videos, through your Facebook group. So we don't do applications, for some programs that we may come out with in the future, we might, like for higher ticket offers, for like 5-figure programs that I do, we definitely do applications because everybody can't get in. And it's not just about you having the money at that point. It's about making sure that you're a good fit. But if you're selling something, where those two things really don't need to be in existence, like I believe that you should qualify your clients before you get on the phone, through the content that you create. And that's how we teach our clients to do it as well. So then by the time they're on their phone, they already know what problem that they have. They already know what solution that they need. They're now you guys are just trying to decide whether or not you guys are the best fit and what the next step needs to be. So your enrollment calls are a lot more constructive, and typically that will allow you to have a higher conversion rate because you've already done a lot of the qualification before they even got on the phone. So that's really my methodology and what we teach and what's worked well for me in my business. And really what I think if you're selling an offer that's not like a group program or like a mastermind where, what am I trying to say? Like if you're running a mastermind, you may want to do applications because it's not just about the person having the money. It's also about them being a good fit for the program. Like there needs to be cohesiveness amongst the members. So like I would run an application for that because you're just looking for a good like value fit, a good culture fit, more so than just using an application to qualify the lead necessarily. So that's what we teach. That's what I recommend. I think it's super effective. So yeah, that's what I got there. I'm not seeing any other questions, but I hope this live stream was helpful. It's more just me documenting what's working for me right now and lessons that I'm learning in my business. And also just answering your guys' questions and helping you progress throughout your business. So hope this was beneficial. You guys have a phenomenal rest of your day. If you are interested in hanging out with me more, learning from us more, getting some more guidance or structure around how you can convert more of your clients, sell more of your services, I highly, highly, highly invite you to join our Facebook group. We have an amazing Facebook group, amazing content that is only published there. Inside, so you can visit jerishahawk.com/join, or if you visit my Facebook business page and there's like a group button, you can click there to join. But the simplest way to get there is jerishahawk.com/join. And we would love for you guys to hang out with us in our Facebook group. Our Facebook group is specifically for service-based business owners who want to sell high-ticket offers. So I invite you guys to come join us over there. Ashante had one last question. Do you learn most knowledge from experience or is it instinct? I don't know how to answer that question. I think a lot of what any of us know is through experience. And like the more experience you have, your instinct just gets better. Like I think your instinct on making good business decisions is a skill set. I don't think any of us are just born like being good. Like none of us are just born with it. I think it's something that is learned and acquired. But the more that you experience, the more that you learn, the more situations that you get in, like you build up your ability to make good instinct decisions. But they're only now instinct because you've built up like that muscle to be able to make those good decisions. So like when I think about it's natural for me because I do this day in and day out. Like it's natural for me because I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly reading books. I'm constantly investing in my development. I'm constantly putting myself in environments where I am not the smartest person in the room. If you guys were to see my schedule, I'd say like 25% of my weekly schedule is me learning, whether that's me reading a book, whether that's me learning from other coaches and joining other masterminds. Like I intentionally put myself in environments and in rooms where they will make me grow. I intentionally put myself in environments and in rooms where people have very different perspectives than what I have that come from different industries. I learn a lot from my fiance because he's from a business perspective, because he's in a very different world than I'm in, right? So like, I just think that if I showed y'all my schedule, y'all wouldn't do it. There's no point in me showing y'all my schedule. Like most of y'all struggle with the schedule y'all got now, Ashante. But like, and this has looked different for me over the course of my business journey as well, right? Because my time looked very different when I was still working a 9-to-5. My time looks different the first year out of corporate because I was trying to figure out how do I even be an entrepreneur and shift from being an employee? How do I get out of just solely producing work for other people and learning how to lead as a business owner and as a CEO? My time now looks different because I have your schedule should mirror what season you are in. Okay. Because, if you're not in a season where you already have your season will look different. How you spend your time will look different based on the season that you are in. But, I really appreciate you saying that this seems very just instinctual for me. Cause that's very much affirming because it lets me know that like, all of the hours that I put into my business, like I said, reading books. Y'all should see our bookshelves. Like we're having to get new furniture here soon. But our bookshelves are like overflowing with books. Like the normal world is stacked and then we have books in front of that stacked up. Like I read a lot, whether that's books, whether that's articles. One thing that I do is I have Google alerts in my email. So I like to stay abreast of because I don't watch the news. I do not watch the news. But I like to stay in the know of what's going on in my industry. So I have Google alerts that send me alerts when certain keyword articles get shared online. So that gets sent to my inbox once a week. So, I learn, and I invest a crap ton of money. I don't want to say a crap ton of money. I invest a very healthy amount of our business revenue into my education by attending in-person workshops, by joining group coaching programs, by joining mastermind groups, by investing in just development. So it seems like instinct because I do this every day. Just as when we go to college, this is something that I recommend that all of you do. Like it'll become more instinct for you when you start to master your craft and when you start to get serious about the thing that you want to be excellent at. I think that's why I killed it at Summit 21. And yeah, I'm going to say I killed it at Summit 21 because it was natural for me. Right? Like it was very natural for me. It didn't feel like I was doing this presentation and like had to speak to the audience. Like it was very natural for me because I do it every day. I know what I'm talking about at the back of my hand. Like I've read, I don't know how many books about sales and sales psychology, or how many classes or courses I've taken on it, or just how much I've learned from my peers. But I felt like I was going to say something else. Oh, I was going to say you should all like, I was talking to one of my students in services that sell, and she was asking the question. I was asking her about her revenue and asking her about her business expenses. And she was like, this is what my my profit margin is when I'm not paying you. And this is what my profit margin is when I am paying you. And I said, how much has your business grown since you've been paying me, i.e. being in services that sell? And she's like, my business has doubled in annual revenue, right? We went from doing like 25,000 a year and we're at about 60 to 70,000 a year. So your revenue's tripled actually. You investing in your coaching and you investing in your development should be a non-negotiable. Like that is something that for me, my investment in me, I'm the biggest asset that my company has. So the better that I am, the more money we are ultimately going to make. Like the better that I am, the better that my team members will be, because I can share that information with them. I can train them better. Like we can operate at a higher level of excellence. So like when people are saying, like, again, this goes back to like, do I do this or this? Like you're coaching and investing in yourself and investing in your development, that should always be that should be a non-negotiable. Just like taxes are a non-negotiable, like you giving back to Uncle Sam is a non-negotiable. You have to do it. You giving back to yourself, like you should be having money set aside just for you to, buy the course or invest in the coach or join the mastermind or pay to go to that in-person workshop. Like I believe in that wholeheartedly. So thank you. Like it's very affirming that you say that, because it's like sometimes you're like, I'm just learning and I'm growing and I'm putting myself in environments that make me uncomfortable. Like I'm learning from my peers, and it's tough and it's hard. And sometimes you don't see the benefit of it until months later. So you saying that like warmed my heart, because, I've been working on this stuff for years. And even when I was in corporate, like, so much of what I learned in corporate has allowed me to be successful now. And it's like, I learned that stuff 6 years ago. So thank you. I think I saw one more question. Y'all are fun. Y'all are going to ask all these questions right when we're going off. Yeah, I do set aside time to read every day for the most part. Whether it's in the beginning, like in my mornings, I typically, we've been staying up super late. Like I blame Netflix for having too many good shows. We've been staying up late watching Netflix. But yeah, I try to set aside time to read every day, even if it's just 30 minutes, normally I read at night before I go to bed. Like I try to do the last hour of my day technology free. So like I will go get in bed an hour early and like get my book out and read my book and journal or something like that right before I go to bed. Some of these questions I might have to ask tomorrow. Somebody said, do you have an elite level of services that sell that includes one-on-one? You already get one-on-one support when you enroll in services that sell. And our method and our methodology is documented so well, like you don't need to pay for a one-on-one call with me. But you already are going to get one-on-one support when you enroll in services that sell. So services that sell is very much a hybrid program. Think about it like there is a course, there is curriculum that you follow. Those are in a video format. We have a textbook that goes along with it, and worksheets that go along with every module. So you have the course. We have the community where I am in there every day. Our student support specialist is in there every day. So you will be able to get one-on-one support just on a daily basis inside of our Facebook group. And then we have our monthly group coaching calls. But how our group coaching calls work is you ask a specific question, you will get direct feedback from me. So that's your opportunity to get another one-on-one touch point, but in a group environment. And so you're going to already get the one-on-one support that you need when you enroll in services that sell. There's no extra money that you have to pay to get individualized attention. Like the more you do the work, the more that we can work with you. The more you show up for yourself, the more we will show up for you. But you already are going to receive one-on-one support when you enroll in services that sell, because that's just how our program is designed. So there's no elite level, there's no extra money you have to pay or anything like that. Zanika said you get lots of support in services that sell. You do, and we really have like a no student left behind policy. So like, even if you're stuck and like you're not speaking, I will find you. And you want to know how I will find you is because I have systems in place and our software allows us to see whether or not you're doing the work. I can look into my system where our course is hosted and see how much course completion you have, which modules you haven't looked at, which modules you have looked at, how much of those modules you've completed or not completed. And, you know, we regularly will go through and look at the student profiles and just see like who seems like they're stuck. Like they should be at 50% right now. They're at 22% course completion right now. Like what's causing them to not move? Or if we see students not getting results like financially, it's like, well, why? And they've completed the program. It's like, are they just learning the content or are they actually implementing what they've learned? And we will check in on you. Like, right, like we will tag you and we will check on you. So like the only way you won't get one-on-one support in services that sell is just if you don't speak, like if you don't show up. It's just like class, like, you know, you're not going to get one-on-one support from your teacher if you don't ever come to class or if you don't come to office hours. So as long as you show up, which like Yolanda, I see that you asked this question. I see you show up in my comments on my live streams like daily. You have no concern that you won't get results, but we will check on you because like you made an investment in this program. I care about the investment that you made. Our team cares about the investment that you made. We want your investment to pay off. Like that goes back to the primary mission of why this business exists. Like if you look at the average small business owner in the United States, they make $44,000 a year. If you look at the average female-owned small business in the United States, they make $22,000 a year. And if you look at the statistics on what is the average small business owner that's woman-led and person of color, it's even less than that $22,000. It's like $12,000 or $15,000 a year. Like my mission is to move that needle. Like I want to be responsible or at least play a part in people breaking over that statistic. Like I think it is ridiculous that the average small business owner that is run by a woman in the United States makes $22,000 a year. Like that is ridiculous to me. Like we are way more capable of the revenue that we can generate and like the financial like family impact that we can have through the skills that we have. Services that sell, like I want you all to be making over $22,000 a year. I want you all to be making over the average small business owner $44,000 a year. Like I want every client that I work with to be in the 1%. I want the 1% to not be 1% anymore. I want the 1% to grow because too many of us out here making $1 million and like getting all up in that. That's what I want. So like if you're joining my program and you don't get results, like I don't want that to be the case. Like I want you to make money. I want you to win. I want you to have a greater impact through the skills that you have. Like I want you to go do the work you've been called to do and like do your kingdom duty and like help more people. And I want you to make more money. So that's just what I believe in. That's really what I try to instill in our clients, in our team members. And that's how we are, we want you to succeed. Yeah, those are really low numbers. But if you look at it, like look at your revenue, like where is your revenue? Are you meeting that statistic right now? And like, how much longer do you want to be meeting that statistic? Latasha asked a really good question. And after this, I will roll out. And if you guys have more questions, just DM me. Because like I'll be back again tomorrow so we can do more Q&A. But Latasha said, do you feel like students were more successful when you did one-on-ones? I'd say no. I don't want to say they were more successful. I think, and I have an episode on the podcast that talks about why you don't need more one-on-one coaching. I think for what we teach inside of services that sell and the result that we help our students deliver, help our students achieve, being able to package a high ticket offer, being able to sell your services consistently, I've noticed the best results because we are in a cohort environment. I think a lot of the time when it comes to packaging your offer and figuring out your messaging and figuring out how to align your marketing strategy with how your buyers make decisions, there's so much value gained when you have access to insight from other people doing the same thing. So I really do believe like this is why I think we have such a high success rate now with how our program is facilitated, is because it's done in a cohort environment. It's done in a group environment. And there's just a lot of emotional or mental blockers that come up for a lot of students as they start to increase their rates, as they start to sell their services more consistently, as they start to make more money. And I think the best support comes from knowing that, like, one, I'm not the first person going down this path. I'm not alone. And I have multiple perspectives on how different people have been able to handle this situation available to me. So I really do believe that that's why our enrollment is growing, why we're getting more students in, and why we're getting better results for our students as we continue to grow our audience and as our group continues to grow, is because it's done in a group environment. And even I noticed for myself, like even how I make investments in me, my best and most successful results have happened when I was in group environments, right? Like really, I don't know when, like probably the only one-on-one coach I'm going to hire is a therapist. That's probably, even when I go work out, I do better in a group environment because it's like, I see other people doing it. It makes me believe in it. Like really the only reason why I hire a coach or join a program is because I want their method. I want their framework. I don't want to only invest in the personality of the brain, right? Like I talk about recipes all the time. Like I don't want, like if I wanted my grandma's sweet potato pie, I want to be able to buy the recipe. I don't want to have to buy my grandma. Like I don't want my grandma to have to be there with me every second of the way. Like I want to be able to make the thing on my own when I want to make the pie, right? I want the recipe. I want the framework, and I want access to the person who created it, but I don't need, and I don't believe that my best results are going to come if I only have access to that one person. And that's just my personal preference and my personal belief for the result that get my clients and the result that I am looking to get in my own business. I love how, Sheree, you said one body, many parts. Like, I just think that I've learned and grown so much faster because I personally was in group environments. And I can see, well, somebody else tested this out and it didn't work, or somebody tested this out and it didn't work, or whatever. So for me, I notice our students get the best results when we're in a cohort, in a group format. So that's why we do that. And that's why I don't like, I've had clients pay me extra. We've done it. I've tested it where our clients have paid me extra money for one-on-one. I think it paralyzes them. I think it paralyzes them because they would not do anything until our next one-on-one call. Or they kept overly seeking my permission before they would move. And I don't ever want to be a hindrance to somebody's growth because they think I know better. And I do know better in certain things, granted, but like, I need to teach you how to learn to know better on your own. Like that's part of my responsibility is how can I train you to be a better CEO and train you to trust the decisions that you make and train you to also be able to like handle risk and be buoyant and bounce back when things don't go your way versus you just depending on me to give you all the answers. Like you're running a business. It's not my business. I'm not telling you to recreate my business. I'm not coaching you on how to recreate another Jerisha Hawk business. This is not a cookie cutter thing. But I want to teach you how to think strategically and make strategic decisions and run your own business. And I think that works best in group environments. So, because we're not doing any cookie cutter stuff over here. Like you are taking the strategies that I have learned and documented them and applying them to work for you. So that was a really great question. But thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow for the Hawk Hustle Morning Show, 9 a.m. Eastern.